Hello everyone, so this is your next step after you have constructed your plate and then you have applied your foot on the bottom. Remember, there's a few different ways that you can apply your foot. You can have somewhat of a flat coil. You can have decorative coils. You can have 3 to 4 balls to place strategically on the bottom. When you are done, you need to put it off into the bag because you need to make sure, 1, it can hold its shape, 2, it's leather hard. So again, how you can tell that it's leather hard is that, it can hold its shape. It's a little firmer than plastic. Okay, so I'm kind of pinching this right now and it's not really changing the shape. Okay, and again, it's able to hold its shape. It does not need the template. All right, when you're waiting for it to dry up, that's when you need to finish your mind map and your plan. Something I talked about in class, but I just want to show you, is that you can take your template, turn it over, draw an outline on your plan, and that's where you can sketch in your ideas. So you can see that this is the one that I used. I did make it smaller than the actual circle because in your plate you're going to have the rim, and then this is the area where you're going to put your narrative. So again, your piece will probably have to be smaller than the outline, but this kind of gets, a good start. Okay, so what you're going to do after you have your mind map completed and your plan completed and it tells your negative, then you're going to go ahead and start with your applying your underglaze. So when you apply your underglaze, okay, you're going to go ahead and use the black that I have given you, and I have a little left over. You're going to go ahead and dip your paintbrush into it. You want to go ahead and load it up, okay, with underglaze, and then you'll start applying the underglaze to the top surface. Okay, once you've run out of underglaze on your brush, it's not moving as freely, come back, pick up some more. Now the main thing that you want to do is when you're painting on the underglaze surface, then keep it even. So you want to apply your underglaze in even coats. Okay, and again, I'm just kind of going back and forth. When I don't have a smooth stroke, then I go back and get more. Okay, you can decide to keep the underglaze on the inside or take it up to the top. That is your decision. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to the top. Again, I'm just using back and forth. And I'm coming back in and I'm getting that underglaze. Okay, one thing you do not want underglaze, you do not want it to puddle. Okay, that means you have too much. So go back over that area and use your paintbrush to sweep that to other areas. Okay, so you do not want it to puddle. Okay, and you want to put on an even coat. Okay, just trying to get some of the areas that I missed. I'm going to go around and do my rim too. Then, before you put on another layer, because you're going to put a total of 3 layers on the top of your piece, this will need to dry. You know it's dry when it becomes chalky looking. Okay, so I'm going to continue to just kind of go around and paint that rim. And again, I don't want any drips. I don't want any puddles. So if you have a puddle, that means you put too much underglaze in that area. So you need to come back and distribute that around. Okay, so, and when it's leather dry, it probably will take a few minutes to dry in between coats. Okay, so I got the rim pretty much covered here. Okay, so I can see, and you guys might be able to see a little bit how it's changed. It's not as glossy up here as it is down here. So that portion up here is starting to dry. You can, just let time, allow it to dry a little bit. I'm just going to use my plate, kind of try to speed up the process a little bit. Again, you have time to do it, to let it dry at home. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to let this dry and then apply 2 more coats. So I have a total of 3 coats of underglaze. Okay, so you can see that my underglaze, I have 3 coats. It is drier. So why I say that is because, again, I painted on each coat. I let it dry, and you notice when it's dry, when it looks chalky or almost like a dark gray like you see on the outers. The inside is dry to touch, but it's not as dry as the outside. So when your underglaze is dry, then you can start your Sgraffito process. So again, I have my drawing drawn out on kind of like a template. There's a few ways you can do this. So you can cut this so it fits directly onto the center of your plate if you want. You can freehand it. That is up to you how you want to deliver your piece. But if you have it this way, what you could do is take your pencil, so like a number 2 pencil or a leaded pencil that's just not have the lead in it. So you can go over your lines and press. Okay, and what I'll do is I want to be careful when I pull this up here. It will transfer your line, so you'll kind of see, and you can't really see it right now, but if I hold it up to the camera, you can see the impression. Okay, so you can do it that way and move your design, or like I said, you can freehand it. The main thing is that you want to work on leather hard clay. You can take a pencil, and again, real lightly, and I'm just going to kind of finish off. You can draw very lightly your design. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm transferring my design very lightly. And if you do not clean off the pencil marks and you still see it in the underglaze, like right here, it will burn off in the firing. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay? So pencil does burn off, which is nice. The main thing is you don't want to dig through the underglaze yet. You just want to get your design on. Like I said, you can freehand it like I'm doing right now, or you can put it on a piece of paper that fits on the top of your plate and then just trace over. So what you're doing is you're pressing in the lines a little bit. Okay, and remember too, you just don't want to, see in that one I went through the underglaze, so that line is probably going to stay. So be very careful when you're doing this. So right now I'm just putting in my lines. And I'll come back and use some tools to help me Sgraffito. I'm actually gonna flip the sun, so I have it on the other side right now, but I'm going to flip it. Main thing is have your plan in place. What are you gonna do? All right, so now it's time to take your tools, and again, you can create loop tools out of it. What I like to do for the line, like my major lines, is just use my pencil. And again, I'm just going to add a little pressure to my line, and you can see how that the clay is becoming exposed. Okay, you can see that clay underneath. If you still see black underglaze, then that's what's going to happen when you fire it. You're just going to have black motif. But now, as you can see, the black of the background will be my negative spot, and then the lines are going to be my positive spot. So again, I'm not digging too deep. I'm just, scratching the surface. And I'm not touching those right now. Okay, we'll come back in a little bit of time and sweep those off with a dry paintbrush or a toothbrush. And again, you guys notice how I'm cleaning off my pencil after I'm done scoring it through. So let me see if so this paintbrush is dry, so I'm just gonna kind of get those off there. Okay, and I'm just gonna turn it over to get those pieces out. I don't know, there's just something about the pencil and the line that the pencil makes that I really enjoy. It's just the right thickness for me. Remember, you can get all different types of thickness. Okay. Now, if you notice on this side, it went back in, so I'm just going to go in and take those out. Okay, so these lines I'm going to keep with the pencil. And then I'm going to go in with a different tool to do the wires in between the bridge. So again, my story, I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing the Centennial Bridge from my hometown. Okay, because I'm doing it about myself. That's my narrative. I'm just going back over this top line because it needs to be just a tad bit thicker, I realized. Take your time with this, please. Okay. So again, I'm going to use my dry paintbrush to sweep off those things.